Hello there. It's only been a couple days since I last filmed the video, but like exactly 2 days. But I had some updates, so wanted to quickly share. So I guess I'll just jump right on into it. In the last video, I was talking about applying for, or not even applying for, but like the one job that was kind of like really pushing me through the process quickly. Even with last week being Thanksgiving, things are moving very quickly. I did a project from them over the weekend. I had 2 interviews lined up on Monday. And so I filmed the video Monday morning. Today it is Wednesday early afternoon. And so I was just talking about how like I was excited about the job. I was getting a lot of good feedback. They were kind of just like, yeah, we really like you. You seem like a good fit, and just like the general energy, as an intuitive, observant individual, I pick up on those things pretty easily, and I could just tell they really liked me. The team was excited about talking to me, and so I was like feeling really good about it. And let's see. So one of the interviews canceled on Monday afternoon. I'm gonna stop here for a second where I'm not being blinded. So one of the interviews canceled. The first one I had was with who would have been my direct report, and it went really well. He's like an ex-football coach, super chill guy, very open. One of the cool pieces of feedback he had for me as I was kind of sharing some of my background and stuff was that he's like, I would take a coach over a corporate background any day, because I know you know how to work with people, and because the role is specifically building relationships. That was a key piece of it. So that was really cool feedback to get. And he seemed very laid back, and he was like, didn't really have like much of an agenda. That went really well. It was like super smooth. And then, like I said, this other one canceled last minute, and I knew that I'd be hearing from them the next day at some point, just because I did want to move so quickly on this. So Tuesday morning, I took Finn to the vet, and they took him back or whatever, and I checked my email, which I don't normally check my email first thing in the morning, but the woman who had been running the whole thing, hiring manager or whatever, she had emailed me, and I did not get the job. So I know for many of you, or for anybody watching this, it'd be like, well, yeah, dude, like, it was your first interview. It was the first job you had like applied for and like gone through a process with. And yes, that is very true. But, and that's why I tried to express some of this in the last video as well. It felt very, like there was a very strong chance of me getting the position. So while yes, it was my first job that I had lined up and first interview process, it was still it was kind of like right time, right place type of thing, in terms of like, it was just a good fit for everybody. So it was very surprising to get that email. The way that the email was worded was apologetic, not only to me, but also it sounded like from them. And so, which leads me to because essentially the reasoning that they gave me was, it was between me and somebody else. Like, they were very transparent about that. But they ended up going with the person with more direct B2B experience, which makes sense, right? Except because of the situation, because of the company, because of the nature of the team, I know that they didn't actually care about that. And this is, of course, my perception of it, but I feel really strongly about my intuitive read into this, which was that they liked me a lot, and they liked me better. But what happened is that and again, my perception, but I do strongly believe it, the CEO just couldn't commit to bring on somebody that has had their own business. He's just too nervous that I was going to not be enough of an asset to the team, not be focused enough because I would be doing things building my own business. And it sucks, but I also can't fault him for that. While that's untrue, I was really excited to be a good employee. I think that's one of the things I've told you guys throughout this little vlog journey so far in the past month or so, is that I'm actually really looking forward to being a part of somebody else's mission and just being able to work hard still and to do well, to achieve things, to use my ambition within a structure that isn't mine. Like, that's something that I'm very much looking forward to at this point, is to have this thing that I'm working towards and doing meaningful work towards and learning a lot and being really into, because I just need the creative space from my business and what I've been doing. So it sucks. It sucks because, I understand the fear, I understand the hesitation, but he was wrong. That wouldn't have been the case. I was excited I was like fully bought into their mission and what they're doing. Like I said, obviously I'm not sharing what it is, but it was just like, it was still something that I was going to be impacting people and kind of like making a bigger change because of what the company is and what they do. So yeah, it sucks. I was pissed when I read the email. I've been through this process with Jessie in terms of like the interviewing process and getting rejected and feeling pissed off for her. It's really shitty when, like, there's always some gray area to this, of course, but when it's like, when you know that they're wrong, when the reasoning that they give you or the reasoning that they had behind the reasoning they stated is incorrect. We've had and I know this is like a normal part of the process, but it's still frustrating. Like, Jessie's had so many jobs that have fallen through because she isn't the right fit or they want somebody with more experience. And it's like, there's literally nobody with more social media experience than Jessie. She's been doing it for a decade, which is as long as it's been a thing for businesses. So yeah, it's just like frustrating to get that feedback, and it feels like, we were talking about this, and then I actually talked to a friend about this yesterday. It just feels very, it's very like, it feels unfair and like abrupt. And yes, I know that life is unfair, the world is unfair, but it's so like, because even like with dating, it's like you can have, because the processes are very, very similar, it's like with that, you can at least have a conversation and be like, well, wait a minute, I thought you liked me, or thought this, or whatever. And yeah, like, you're gonna get ghosted sometimes, and yes, there are gonna be people that just like cut you off, block your phone number, whatever. But many times, after dating for a bit, like, you'll have a conversation, like, it's not working for me because of this. And I don't know, like, with this type of stuff, you just like, you get cut off immediately. It's like, we went with this other person, you didn't get the role, and you can no longer contact us. It's just such a weird thing. But anyways, yeah, I was pissed yesterday morning. I was frustrated because it actually felt like a really aligned position. It felt really good. I had gotten myself to the place where it's like, oh, okay, like, this is going to be my next step, and it's kind of scary because I would be all in, but it feels good to be to again have the space and be bought into something that I still believe in and want to be a part of, etc. So yeah, I essentially gave myself time yesterday to just kind of like be with, sitting with the reality of what was going on. Also, just in general, it was kind of exciting to think that I could have a job before end of year, because now, it's December 1st. We're obviously going into the end of the year, Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff. And so, it could legitimately be 6 to 8 weeks before people are like actually ready to go through the hiring process. So that piece is weighing on me a little bit as well, because it was like, oh, like, not only it was a good opportunity, but it's something that would have worked out quickly. Whereas now, like, who knows how long I'll have to wait. And so that just kind of adds a little bit to the stress of, you know, like on the financial side and stuff like that. But yeah, so yesterday I didn't really force anything out of myself. I didn't, you know, I wasn't like, okay, I have to get back to the grind. I have to like apply for 20 more jobs today. Just kind of wanted to, and I mentioned that because like that's probably how I would have done things in the past, but because I understand and honor the power of emotional processing and the time that it takes to do that and the space that it takes to do that. I just really wanted to kind of be with where I was yesterday and not try to push, you know, move the needle in any real direction. So yeah, so that's where we're at with that. Back to the drawing board. Yeah, I do have a couple referrals that I'm still going to be hoping get pushed through this week, which will provide some leads. But then besides that, I will essentially have to come up with, you know, job boards, LinkedIn, all that good stuff, and essentially come up with positions from there. So definitely a little bit of a downer, but that's the nature of this process and this game, right? Like, that's just how the job search goes, and I understand that. So yeah, I'm just trying to really lean into the trust that just wasn't the right fit for me, even though it may have felt good, looked good on paper. It just wasn't right. Otherwise, I do trust that it would have worked out. It's hard to do that, but you have to. Otherwise, it's just too easy to become stressed and to get frustrated, jaded, all those things, and ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for me putting my finger in front of the fucking lens either. But yeah, all right. I was gonna try to get this under 10 minutes. We're at 12 minutes now, so that'll do it for this video. Yeah, I guess if you feel like chiming in, any random thoughts you have, I'm very much open to, or share your own interview story below. I'd love to hear that. I know it's like interviewing and dating are two things that are very interesting from the perspective that, you know, the experiences we have are just wild in both of those things. So hit me up with your interview experience below. Thanks for hanging out. Much love, Benjamin.